Once Human just got a brand new patch, as well as some new patch notes. We also gotta talk about some of the hidden stuff within the game, as well as what it's alluding to the future. There's also some differences with some of the cosmetics from different clients. Additionally, we'll go over some feedback from the community, what's happening with the new season, as well as a whole bunch more. What's up, world? It's Utopia back here with another video. Today we're checking out all things Once Human. Okay, so jumping right into it. Recently, we did get a brand new patch. However, we did get some patch notes for the past few days. And again, these are a bit delayed here, but these are the patches for the last few days. There's not a ton with the first few updates, so I'll go over those very quickly. The first one here is they fixed an anomaly with tireless takedown, calibration slot in the pro dungeons. They also urgently fixed an issue where players could enter certain dungeons while carrying chaotic cortexes. I definitely was able to enter a dungeon with a chaotic cortex. In fact, I think I have footage of that in one of my previous videos. I went from picking a chaotic cortex up into a dungeon, so it seems like they changed that. That was the patch for August 5th. Jumping over to August 6th, they fixed an issue where players could fall through the ground during the tutorial, causing the respawn point to be incorrect. They also fixed an issue where player models didn't fully load in the Forsaken Giant main story dungeon. And last up here for August 6th, they fixed an issue where certain materials could be stacked due to a physics validation error. Now again, they don't denote what those exactly were, and if you do have any information on that, please let me know. Next up here, we have the August 7th fixes, where they fixed an issue with the distribution of the deviation festering gel. They also fixed kind of a unique one here where players were forcibly pushed aside when collecting or colliding with a caught electric eel. Number 3 on this list here, player territories were being incorrectly flagged as belonging to others, preventing teleportation. Seems like a very serious issue there. There was a text error in the reminder email for expiring meta passes. And last up for August 7th, they fixed an issue where wallpaper unlock items could be used repeatedly, leading to unintended consumptions of already unlocked wallpaper items. August 8th actually has some adjustments here. Now they did fix an issue here where gliding would stop working if players modified the climb/glide key, and the option to enable gliding has been disabled. I've noticed some gliding issues. It does seem to be a bit better this patch. I've noticed the key working more frequently. Sometimes I press my spacebar and it doesn't exactly glide right away, although it does seem to be fairly better since this patch. They fixed an issue where the damage dealt by Manibus to buildings in the Prime War was too high, so again some nerf there to Prime Wars. I haven't been able to experiment with those. I really wish I did maybe make an alternate character on these PvE servers. That way I could test these things out, and I probably will eventually. The bulk of the changes here are adjustments to the completion requirements for season goal tasks. So they reduced the required riddle spot explorations from 80 to 60. They reduced the number of mystical crates to find from 36 to 20. And they temporarily moved the goal to obtain a deviation with a defiant energy and activity rating greater than 5. They'll bring it back after a fix with the issue where some deviations weren't being counted, and this won't affect the number of Mitsuko marks needed for those rewards. And they also did one last nerf here, where they lowered the Mitsuko's marks requirements for Season Phase 5 rewards. 2-star now requires 400, and 3-star now requires 750. So again, a little bit easier to complete Phase 5 at this point. Seems like they keep lowering that and that little requirement there, so that's definitely helping overall. Obviously, those raised each phase, and it seems like they kind of put the numbers a little bit too high, and some goals and challenges weren't working, so I'm glad they've been lowering it and adjusting where need be. That does cover it for our recent patch notes. I do believe we received a patch in the last day or so. Again, we don't have the patch notes for that on the August 12th/13th patch. They are a few days behind with these patch notes, so I'll try to bring you that as quickly as possible. I am hoping my little feedback there is that they do bring these patch notes out a little bit sooner with the patches. I'm still really glad to see that they do bring out patch notes, because it could be like Fortnite or other games where they don't even release patch notes at all, or they only signify the major changes. So I'm really happy to see that they have patch notes here, at least in full detail, but I just wish they could get those out a little bit sooner if possible. Jumping over here, we have some variants with the Chinese client compared to the American one. This is actually quite significant, and it looks like the Chinese client gets a different skin, or has access currently to different skins, this one here being significant. This is obviously a nun outfit, or kind of reminiscent of like a Halloween nun outfit. As someone pointed out in the comments here, it looks like a nun from the Hitman franchise. It is really weird how the Chinese client got this, but American or the NA client did not. There's been a lot of comments on this, people pointing out different reasons. Although it's all very odd because TFD or the First Descendant has some pretty revealing skins. So I'm not exactly sure why the NA client seems to be censored from this skin, or at least doesn't have access to it. Hoping that they eventually bring this stuff to the game, or at least let the NA have a choice there, or even a vote on this stuff. Although I'm not super big on paid for cosmetics. But I know people do enjoy that stuff, so hopefully they do bring this stuff to you guys eventually. And I'm just surprised for once that the N8 client is actually censored from certain skins. Typically that's the reversal there. So a bit odd with that decision there overall, I believe. We'll have to wait and see if they do answer us eventually on this, or if we get any answers to why this happened. So we've had some stuff happen within the game that seems like it maybe shouldn't be there, or maybe it's part of next season. People have been finding ores in the game that aren't really found very often. They seem to be quite rare. This one here is a Sproutolitite. It seems like this is an ore that you can farm. Now this is different than the regular Sproutlets. This is something that can be exchanged for Sproutlets, it says by NISA, except there currently isn't any mechanic there to refine it at this point. Now someone also pointed out here that this might be a translation error because it is NISA and not NISA right now. This person pointed out that the ores just started spawning near his base in an event. It does seem like this was supposed to come with Phase 5. These are from different events there. This is an ore from an event specifically where you run around and collect flowers. At least this comment points out here. I've never seen this event. I've seen it pointed out a few times on the subreddit. It does seem like this isn't significant to PvP or even PvE. But yeah, definitely an odd one there, and it does seem fairly rare. Although obviously the PvP cargo scramble is on PvE server, so that might be the mix-up or why that's available. But yeah, there's been a lot of confusions around that, so we'll have to see what that does play out to be. We also had an interesting find here. Someone found out that future seasons might be getting up to T8, and they found this while searching for a silo, and this was in a new area. And as it showcases here, this was repurposed for a T8 securement silo. Very interesting there. There's also T7, of course. And as another commenter pointed out here, of course, we're going to have different sections of the map that we'll have access to. Again, for September, it seems like we're not going to have a different section of the map, but for October, this might come more into play. So probably not going to get this with the September phases or the new season coming up. But more than likely, this could be the case with the October season and that new PvE season. As we know, it looks like we're not going to be getting any PvE content or new PvE content with the new season. And it looks like their primary focus is going to be on PvP. Which does lead me over to one of our last minute mentionables here. Someone did point out that PvP servers are going to be filled up with PvE players, making nobody happy. Seemingly because we're not getting any new PvE content. It seems like a lot of new players or a lot of players from the PvE scene are going to go to PvP servers. And this is because PvE players are only probably going to get a reset. They're not going to get an entirely new scenario. And because the PvE community will just be kind of waiting around for a month, they won't have any new content. More than likely, they are going to go to PvP servers. So that might be a problem for the future. We'll have to wait and see on all that. Although PvP servers mostly don't have PvP always enabled, it kind of has to be enabled manually. Pretty much the same as PvE servers, except there's different content structure there. We'll have to wait and see if that has much effect. I do like that they are focusing more on the PvP stuff since PvP felt very lacking. But it is a bit unfortunate that PvE players won't have new content. Again, I was debating on swapping from a PvP server to PvE. Obviously now more than likely with the next season I'm probably going to stick with PvP as PvE won't see any new content, although I do want to try Prime Wars. At least it would be something different than what I've been playing with the war stuff. I think for both cases there, people just want the lag to be fixed in those, because both of those do currently have somewhat of issues overall. But that does about cover for today's video. If you like and subscribe, and until the next deuces.